Good morning everybody and welcome to our Wednesday morning assembly. I'm going to start our assembly today by listening to some music. I have a lovely song for you and it's called Don't Worry and it's by a Scottish singer called Karine Polwart. Some of you might recognise her voice and I'll tell you a little bit more about her tomorrow. I'd just like you, while the music's playing, to close your eyes, to try to clear your mind and to relax your body so that you feel calm and ready to concentrate and have a good day of learning. So here we go. This is Karine Polwart and Don't Worry.
Don't worry, worrying won't pay the bills. I would trade in the view from this mountainside for some tiny little molehills. When the soldier comes back with the weight of the world in his little knapsack, he's gonna need a hand to hold, to ease out the thorns from the heart of his soul and roll away the stone. Don't worry, worrying won't make it all stop. I would trade in the swell of the ocean for one tiny little raindrop. When the soldier comes back with the weight of the world in his little knapsack, he's gonna need a hand to hold, to ease out the thorns from the heart of his soul and roll away the stone. I will roll away the stone. I will roll away the stone and set you free.
I really hope that you enjoyed that, children, and that you're now ready to listen. This week we've been thinking about rules and about expectations, and I want to ask you a question. I want to know if anybody knows what the highway code is. Maybe your teachers could pause the video now if anybody's got their hand up and they can explain what the highway code is to their classmates. So the highway code is a set of rules that everybody who uses the road has to stick to. Whether you're a car driver or a cyclist or a horse rider, anybody who's using the road has to stick to the highway code. And in the highway code, there are lots of things that you have to learn before you can pass your driving test particularly. Now, you're all a long way off driving yet, but the highway code contains lots of signs. And these signs help us to understand the rules of the road. And you will see these signs all around Wilmslow. Some of them you might just know what they mean because they're very straightforward to understand. Some of you might have asked your parents or your grandparents or friends what they mean, and for some of you, you probably won't even have noticed them at all. So I'm going to show you a couple. I want to see if you know what these signs mean. Now the first one I'm going to show you, you will have seen if you have travelled underneath the railway bridge in Wilmslow by the station. This sign has a particular meaning for traffic driving under the bridge. So I wonder if you can explain, or if anybody knows what this sign means. Maybe it would be a good time to pause the video if anybody's got their hand up. The next sign I'm going to show you is this one. I wonder if you know what this sign means. All of the warning signs and the signs about rules of the road in the Highway Code have a red triangle around them. And this sign would help you if you were driving along and you had to take particular care because something happens to the road further along. I wonder if anybody knows what that is or can tell what that is from the sign. Now the next sign I'm going to show you is, we'll do a couple more. Ooh. Here we go. If you have ever, I know it's backwards and I'm sorry about that, I can't flip it the other way, but if you have ever driven or walked to the other end of Nursery Lane, you will see this sign. I wonder who's really good at backwards reading. So first of all, who can read it? And second of all, does anybody know what the sign means? Last one. Let's have another one with pictures on it. Oh, here we go. I wonder if anybody knows what this sign means. I've certainly seen it around Wilmslow, perhaps not in Wilmslow town centre, but in the areas around maybe Morley or Style or Mobberley, where it's a little bit more countryside than town. I wonder if anybody knows what our last sign means. Put your hand up if you can tell your teacher. Now, it's really important when you're using the road that you know what the rules of the road are, because if you don't, then you could be driving very dangerously, you could hurt or harm somebody. But I wonder if you know why we need rules in school, why we have expectations about your behaviour and the way you treat people in school. I wonder if anybody could put their hand up and tell their teacher any of their thoughts around why we need rules and expectations. And another question, if you could make up one more rule for our school, what would it be? Have a bit of thinking time, and then maybe your teacher can ask 2 or 3 people. Now I think that a reasonable number of rules is always a good idea, because rules help us to be safe and they help us to live together, all together, in a way that works. Now, in the Old Testament in the Bible, Christians believe that God gave them a set of rules to live by. And these rules are called the 10 Commandments, and they were given to a man called Moses. Moses was called by God to receive these rules, and they're very special. So I'm going to tell you what the rules are. I'm not going to use the language from the Bible directly, because that can sometimes be a bit complicated. So I'm going to use simple language that you will understand. Okay? So the first rule is this, and I want you to listen really carefully to all 10, and I want you to think about whether you think they are good rules. Some of them might sound a bit strange, and what you've got to remember is that these were given to people living thousands and thousands of years ago. And we know that over time, society changes and things change, and sometimes those rules might need to be adapted a little bit, but these were the rules that God gave to Moses, and these were the rules that he instructed Christians to live by. So here goes. Rule number 1. I am the only God, and you must only worship me. Number 2. Don't worship things like statues or birds or trees, only me. Don't use my name for bad purposes. Don't say it in vain or don't use it as an insult. It's a special name, so treat it with respect. Keep one day a week to rest and call this day the Sabbath. Honour your father and mother, look after them, care for them and respect them. You need them to help you survive. Don't ever kill anybody. If you marry someone, stay faithful to them and don't go off with somebody else. Don't steal from each other. It hurts other people and it makes life really hard. Don't tell any lies either. This includes not making up stories that are untrue about other people. And the last rule, number 10, be satisfied with the things that you've got and don't wish that you'd got what somebody else owns. I want you to just have a little think for a moment about whether you think that they're good rules. These rules were meant to make people's lives happier and to help people live together successfully and in peace. If you think that the rules in the 10 Commandments are still important today, if you think that those rules still apply, if those are some of the rules that we still live our lives by, I want you to put your thumbs up if you agree. If you don't agree, I want you to put your thumbs down. If you're not sure or you think that we still live by some of those rules, I want you to put your thumbs in the middle. So, when I say 3, I want to see everybody's thumbs. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, well done everybody. Many people still think that the 10 Commandments contain some really good advice how to live alongside other people. Because much of the advice in the commandments, is to do with respecting other people and treating people well in various different ways. We couldn't live, not just in our town or our country, humans on earth couldn't live together successfully and peacefully without some rules to follow. And Christians believe that the 10 Commandments that God gave to Moses are a really good place to start. I'd like us to end our assembly today with a prayer. So let's put our hands together and close our eyes. Dear God, please help us to show respect for others and to keep the rules of our school so that it's a happy and safe place for us all to be. Thank you for giving us the 10 Commandments and for sharing them with Moses. And thank you, they still contain good advice for us today. Amen. Well done for listening, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the music, and I will see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye. Have a lovely day of learning. Bye-bye.